In 2011, with America's historic debt rating in jeopardy and a budget deficit growing at an alarming rate, Congress enacted the Budget Control Act. This legislation set in motion a threat to reduce the national debt, in part by drastically reducing the Department of Defense, FAA, and NASA budgets. The Second to None campaign was launched, a national campaign based on delivering the facts that America's economic and national security depend on the aerospace and defense industry.
Well, I think it's very important that we have a single voice, that our message is heard loud and clear.
If sequestration occurs, the cuts in the aerospace and defense portion alone could result in the loss of over 1 million American jobs.
I think Second to None is an attempt to try to communicate with everybody on how important the aerospace industry is to our country.
This is going to be a sustained effort. AIA and its member companies will speak out wherever we can.
The Congressional Super Committee, tasked with finding additional cost savings, failed. As required by the new budget law, sequestration or automatic across-the-board cuts were mandated. With the clock ticking until budget sequestration hits, our industry turned up the heat with new information demonstrating the contribution of aerospace and defense to America's economy.
This report rigorously measures the industry's impact on jobs, GDP, taxes paid, and a host of other metrics.
Many things may separate labor and management in traditional senses, but when it's about jobs, our nation's best interests, you can't see daylight between our two organizations.
Across the country, AIA and member companies are getting the word out. Sequestration will devastate our industry and weaken our country.
We're also here because there's a real crisis brewing for our company, for our industry, and for our country. This so-called sequestration will slash deep into the aerospace and defense industry. These cuts would put work done at plants like this around the country at risk.
This is a workforce and an industry that is all about technology, good paying jobs, an industry that drives huge amounts of exports and is so critical to our economy.
Experts say that this sequestration will cost over 40,000 jobs in Florida alone, and to add thousands more to our military, NASA, the FAA, and our supply chain across the board.
And so we've got to take this message of Second to None to make sure that this does not become a reality.
We at AIA will continue to do our part, and together, all of us, we can roll back that sequestration clock. Together, we'll do our part to make sure America is second to none. Thank you.
On Capitol Hill, in the media, at events across the country, our industry is working to get the word out.
We're not going to hire. We're not going to make speculative investments. We're not going to lean forward. We're not going to invest in incremental training because the uncertainty associated with $53 billion more of reductions in the first fiscal quarter next year is a huge disruption to our businesses.
2012 is a critical year. National and local elections will provide an important backdrop to our industry's efforts to educate the public and elected officials. Our messages are simple. Budget cuts at the level threatened by sequestration will devastate our industry and threaten America's national security. And the innovations arising from America's aerospace and defense industry fuel tomorrow's efforts to keep America leading the world in space, in commercial and civil aviation, and everywhere we must go to defend and protect our country.